Hello, everyone. Whoops. 1 minute. Welcome to week 5. We talked before about categories of data, whether it's male, female, heart failure, pneumonia. This week, we're going beyond that, and we're going to talk about continuous variables. We're going to go one step above counting individual things and measuring them. In chapter 5, we're going to look at how to handle data that can take on any numeric value, like minutes it takes a coder to code a chart, thousands of dollars in a patient's hospital stay, whatever it is. Here are 3 big takeaways for the week as you work your way through the reading and the assignments. First of all, don't get distracted by outliers. We have 3 different measures of central tendency that we're going to look at, and the median is often the best one to use, whether it's with real estate prices or um, healthcare. And again, it kind of separates out the outliers a little bit, right? So if you're looking at real estate, if you have a house in San Francisco and it costs 20 million, and you have one in another area of San Francisco that's a 1 bedroom condominium that is, say, 275,000, and it has all these other construction issues, right? The average isn't really going to help you, right? You add the 2 values together and divide them, and you'll still have an astronomical dollar amount. That's where the median comes in. The median is the middle value, a much better indicator of where things are at real estate wise and frequently within healthcare. Second, we don't want to make you into biostatisticians, but we want you to understand what the 5-step hypothesis test is, why it's important in healthcare research. And you'll see this used often whether you're using new software, um, other different things, is the 5-step hypothesis test. So make sure that you're familiar with that. And then finally, again, we don't want to make you statisticians. That's somebody else's job. But understand what things like t-test, p-value are. P-value, if it's smaller than the alpha, that means that you found something statistically significant. That's what you need to know for this chapter. So check out the practice problems. Don't be intimidated by the formulas. You can do some of these things in software packages like R or Excel. I do know of some health information management personnel who use that, but for the lion's share of us, most of us just have to understand their role in health information management and healthcare operations. Anyway, that's what we have going on this week, and we'll see you online. Bye now.